There we go. All right.
So where you want me to start?
You know what, Vincent, if you, I think really the inspiration for this group, most of them are not in rev share, but I think the inspiration for me and for the value you bring is that you found out about an opportunity, you found out about a goal, and your mindset was, you know what, this is something I'm going to pursue, and here's how I'm going to go get that goal, because that resonates into anything in business and life, and certainly into people's real estate business.
Right, absolutely. I appreciate that. So first off, Melissa, I love your story, what you shared there. A couple of takeaways. I know Randy he touched on one too, but a couple of takeaways which go into play with everything that I did to develop revenue share is the same thing you're doing right now to sell real estate, to help your clients, buyers and sellers. It's the exact same thing. You're just adding one little component, but it's the same thing you're doing anyway. So a couple of takeaways there. YouTube, you just be you. And I like what Randy said because it's so true. Because people everybody has their own tribe, and where somebody you may look up there and say, "Well, I'm not like them. They're all this in a bag of chips." But that's okay. People, we all get catty, and we all we don't like people for certain reasons, and someone we don't even know why. And that's the way of the world. And so just be you. If you do YouTube, and I would recommend it, and people will be attracted to who you are because you are like them in whatever way it is. And stay with it. The other thing was it, I think, 5 months. And I think if you listen to the videos from what's his name, the guy from Dallas. Anyways, I can't think of his name right now, but he was like 6 months before he got in his first deal. So stick with it. And then the other thing was your database is your business. Brandy just mentioned it. Your database is your business, and that is so true. You work your database. You call. You follow up on your database all the time, and so doing that with other agents is vital. So treat it the same way. Treat your database of buyers and sellers the same as you treat your database of agents. Every deal that you've ever done, or most every deal, has been there's a agent on both sides. So you're not the only one there. So contact the people. It's amazing. I just recruited an agent that has been in real estate for 21 years, never heard of EXP except for the fact he's done 2 deals last year with EXP, 3 deals with EXP agents, all 3 different agents, different deals, and not one of them ever told him about EXP. Not one of them ever asked him if he heard of EXP or knows the business model, nothing. And so people are out there doing real estate, and they're not talking about, talking to other agents. And I think it's a disservice to the people around you because if you found benefit and value in EXP, then you owe it to those other agents to at least let them determine whether there's a benefit to them and their career. Like Randy said, I saw EXP. I never sold any real estate. I wasn't even licensed when I saw EXP 5.5 years ago. I did not join EXP to sell real estate. I joined EXP to build a real estate business, a company like Dave Liniger of Remax, like Gary Keller of Keller Williams, like Coldwell and Banker did. Except I didn't have to have all the overhead. I wasn't responsible for the agents. I wasn't responsible for teaching them or nothing. And 5.5 years later, I have over 1,000 agents in my revenue share and probably 8 or 9 different countries. And I still have not sold a house. And once again, it's not because I can't, it's because I choose not to. I'm more interested in building a passive residual income, long-term generational wealth than I am about doing one transaction. I come from a construction background. So when I built a house, I got paid. And if I wanted to get paid again, I had to build another house, just like you guys in real estate. And I did that for many, many, many years. I've also owned a couple other businesses. And so for me, it was all about just talking to agents, and every agent, a timing's right for them when it's right for them. The agent that I just sponsored, Coldwell Banker agent, 25 years with Coldwell Banker, swore she would never leave Coldwell Banker, but she's been on my database because I called her in July of 2018 was the first time I called her. from a cold call. I've still never met her. And she said, I'm curious, but I'm not interested in moving. And I said, great, well, let's get on a Zoom. We got on a Zoom. I told her about EXP, and I've been following up with her for every 3 months for 5 years, since July of 2018. And she just joined last month in April. And so everybody moves. You just got to keep following up with people. I don't bug people. I don't chase people, but I will follow up with you every 3 months and forever. Even the people that unsubscribe, just like you do with your database. If you call people, your database, if you're calling that database on a regular basis, like you should be, then sooner or later you do that, because sooner or later, you know, people are going to be ready to move or buy. And you just want to be on the forefront of their mind when the timing's right for them to do that. You want them to give you an opportunity for the job. And when I call people, I just want the opportunity to be in the conversation when the timing's right for them. And so for you guys, I would say, just make it a commitment to talk to it's so funny. I've got people on my team and they have a listing. I was going to meeting with them for lunch. We went by one of the listings. It was an empty house, and there were business cards, real estate agents' business cards all over the counter. And he was like, oh, this is just, man, these agents, they just make such a mess. And he dumps it all in a garbage can. I'm like, what's wrong with you? That is a massive amount of contacts you can talk to about EXP. And he's just not thinking about that. He's more thinking about real estate. And so I'm saying, all you got to do is add one component. If you've got a listing and there's business cards, or you got the lockbox and you probably know who showed your house, you can contact that agent. Hey, I saw you went to 8021 Main Street. I'd love to get your thoughts, or what your clients' thoughts were on the property. Was there anything you liked or didn't like, or what was your thoughts on it? And just to kind of, I value your opinion, and that creates a conversation. That's just the contact. It's just a lead that you never know what's going on in their life and their career, and it might be the right time for them to make a move. Just like you, each and every one of us moved to EXP at a certain time that was right for us. But most of us didn't have a clue, weren't looking, weren't planning, weren't in search of change, and somebody contacted you at the right time in your career and the right time in your life, that it made a good choice for you to make the move. Just like them, you're just hoping to get them at the right time. So I don't know what else I can add, Randy, or questions or whatever. Let me know which direction you want me to go.
I think, Vincent, and thank you for that. And I think that some of the takeaways, and I think the important thing for one, Vincent hadn't sold a single home, but he saw an opportunity in real estate that interested him, and he just went for it. And he had a mindset of how to get to his goal, and that he hadn't did it before didn't deter him. And I think just in this conversation today is that Melissa and Glenn started a YouTube channel because they saw success in that, and they started. And within, 3-6 months, they started seeing results. I had another gentleman on to start a YouTube channel that had no social media presence. A year later, he had 3, but his sponsor told him, hey, I'm not going to work with you if you don't start a YouTube channel. A year later, he had 3 properties in escrow just from his YouTube channel. People will find you. And I think it's just a matter of being persistent and starting and having the dedication and the consistency in your business. Vincent will have generational wealth because he made a decision to go for something that he saw an opportunity in. He could have easily had limiting beliefs that, well, that's good for somebody that's been in real estate, knows all these real estate agents, and have a limiting belief that it's for somebody else. Vincent said, I'm going to go for this. I can do this. And then he took the action to make it happen. There's a difference from wanting to do something and actually going out and making it happen. And you can translate that into your business. Absolutely. Into real estate, but you can also translate that into the opportunity that EXP provides every one of you, is to just invite people to look at the business model. They don't have to, you're not recruiting them. you just want them to have the opportunity to look at the business model. May not be for them now, but it may be, and you can build a relationship with them. And then as Vincent said, just keep in touch, follow up, follow up, follow up. Do you guys have any questions for Vincent at all? Because I think there's some incredible experience and value with Vincent. Go ahead.
I just wanted to know really quick, and Mike, it's more of a statement, not a question, but it's a thank you, because it's such a good thing to talk about people's timing. That's the most important thing, because I told Randy when he reached out to me a couple of years ago, I would die with Keller Williams. That was my statement. And I love what Vincent said, because I was one of those people that I was so loyal. I was with them, back in the early 2000s, and they're a great brokerage, but it's all about timing. It's all about your circumstances, because I hadn't partnered with Glenn, Jen, and Brooke at that point. So yeah, it's all about timing. And I'm so inspired, because this has been the most difficult thing for me. This has been I want to do it. And I know I'm not alone in this. Shake your head if you agree with me. I want to do this, but I just don't know where to start. So I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I'd also like to say thank you, Vincent, because I sell real estate, and I'm very slow to build a team, because I have other things in my world, right? Mm-hmm. I'm supposed to be retired, but it's really helpful. And Randy's meeting with a potential agent for me on Saturday, and it's that willingness to be open, that and it's vulnerable. And I think that's what Melissa was just speaking to. I think Melissa was speaking to that. It's a vulnerability to reach out to these agents and have them say no. And the thought that they've already heard it 1,000 times. And the point is, they haven't heard it 1,000 times. And it's keeping that in the back of our minds. So thank you. It was very helpful.
Absolutely. Well, there's a couple things is you need to realize. One is what you just said, it's all in our mind. If you don't control your mind controls you. And back in the day, there was a commercial. It was, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. And it's so true, because we let our mind, from outside influences, from experiences that don't serve us, we let them have real estate in our mind. And you've got to slowly, it takes time, but you've got to start chopping it out of there as soon as it comes in. You got to be aware of it, notice it. For me, like Randy said, I've talked to tens of maybe 100,000 agents in the last 5 years. And every one of them has been from cold calling, or I met them at an open house. And so, but nobody's ever asked me, how much real estate have I sold? Nobody's ever asked me how long I've been in real estate. And the reason why is because I don't think it's a problem. It's not a problem to me. So therefore I don't attract it. And so when you talk about, it's hard for you to get started. You want to build revenue share. It's the exact same thing for calling your database. If you go to an open house and you collect 10 names at your open house, and you don't call them the next day or that week, then what's the point? You have to force yourself to do it. In real estate, everybody that's selling real estate, you had to force yourself to do things that were uncomfortable to you, whether it was door knocking, YouTube channels, farming, talking to people at trade shows, wherever you go to meet clients, whatever purpose it was, whatever way it was that you met these people, it was probably uncomfortable for you to do. And if it wasn't uncomfortable for you to harvest the data, meaning you're really outgoing, you love people, and it's easy to make contacts, it probably is hard for you to follow up with these people on a regular basis. Oh, they've heard from me, I've called them 3 times and they're not interested in buying or selling. Oh, I called them, 20 times and they're not interested in buying and selling. And so we start justifying whether we should call them again because we called them too many times. And the reality is, you probably were uncomfortable to force yourself to make that call several times. If you're successful in real estate, a lot of times you forced yourself to make a call you didn't want to make or was uncomfortable to make. And this is the exact same thing. It's going to be uncomfortable. That's the reason I did this. When I first saw EXP for the very first time, I was good friends with Brent Gove, for probably 35 years. And he shared it with me. And I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't know that you guys worked for a broker. I didn't know you had a split. I didn't know you had fees. I didn't know anything. I could spell real estate agent. That was about as much as I knew. And so what I did was I had 4 friends of mine that were real estate agents. And I asked all 4 of them, look, I found this cool real estate model. If you take out revenue share, is there value to the agents? I mean, the split, the stock, the fees. I didn't know what any brokerage did or what any, but I didn't even know you guys worked for a brokerage and you split with them. So all 4 of them said, this is brilliant. And the reason I said, if you take out revenue share, would there be value? Because I know most people won't talk to other agents. They won't recruit because it's uncomfortable to do, but it's the same darn thing you're doing to sell real estate. It's just you're talking to an agent instead of a buyer or seller. It's the same thing. You're still pushing yourself to do things that are uncomfortable. And the more you do it, the more comfortable it becomes. So the success is in the doing. And this is the same way. And so all I'm saying, and what I tell everybody, just add one component. Just be cognitive to the agents around you. If you closed a deal last month and you didn't talk to that agent, call the agent back. That if you were the buyer's agent, there was a listing agent. If you're a listing agent, there was a buyer's agent. Hey, look, we did 8021 Main Street last month. I just popped in my head that I thought about you, and I really appreciate that deal. I like the way it went. Blah 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 blah. Say something positive about it. Say, look, I'm dying to know. Have you heard of the new plan EXP Realty has for 2023 and beyond? Because if you're thinking that they've all heard it, and I've heard it said on here once. If you thinking that, then switch it around. If you just assume they've heard about EXP, but have they seen the new plan? And the new plan, well, Vincent, what's the new plan? The new plan is coming from you. Because just because somebody says they've seen it doesn't mean they saw it. Because most people are sending out a video and the people aren't watching it. If they are watching, they're not paying attention. That's the biggest mistake I made in my first 2 years in EXP was I sent people videos instead of controlling the point of introduction. I mean, I'm sitting in front of a laptop just like this, and they're somewhere else, and I'm pushing play and watching a video with them, or I'm doing the presentation myself. And the biggest mistake I did was send people videos, and some joined still. I've recruited 48 people to date, and out of those 48, I knew 4 of them. And all the rest of them came from cold contacts that I've got icon agents frontline that I've recruited that I've never met before, even to this day. I've got agents that have been with me for 5 years and I've never met them to this day, except for on Zoom. And so don't let I like what Brent says, if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. And so I didn't have any limitations. Even today, last week, I called 50 plus agents 5 days a week last week, and I'll do the same thing this week. And a lot of times I get nothing from it, but I know in the bottom of my heart, and this is important, if you're looking to sell $1 million homes, I know for a fact, if you don't call people that buy and sell $1 million homes, you will not sell $1 million home. I know for a fact, if I don't make the phone calls, if I don't make the contacts, then I won't sponsor another person. But I do know that if I do the tasks that I need to do, if I do the calls, if I go out and meet people, then I know for a fact sooner or later I will sponsor another one. It's just the law of numbers. And if you want to sell more real estate, you're going to have to call more people. If you want to sponsor more people, you're going to have to talk to more people about EXP. And that's just that simple. And then follow up with them till they die or buy.
Follow up. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Please, if you have any questions for Vincent, come on.
I don't have a question, but you just inspired me because I'm also more doing the rev share, some transactions, but that it took 5 years for the lady with Coldwell. So that's really inspiring. I've been doing it for a year. And just like Catherine said, you get a lot of no's, but then after they come, and it just inspired me. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. You know what? It's all about, you got to follow up with people. I don't chase people. I don't bug them, but they absolutely, everybody that's ever told me they're interested in knowing more about EXP, every one of them get a call from me every 3 months, period. I call them today, like the ones that are on my list today. I've got about 23 tasks that I'm going to have to do. These are people that I followed up with 3 months ago. I will call them today. And most of them I'll just leave voicemail because they know, they recognize my number now. but they still get a phone call from me, and then I'll move the task forward 3 months, and I won't think about them for another 3 months. And everybody gets a phone call from me every 3 months. And sometimes, like the Coldwell Banker agent, I'm calling at the right time. Sometimes I call that agent, oh, I joined EXP last month, and they joined with somebody else. That's part of, you know, the price that I pay, is because I don't sell real estate, so I don't have that relationship with them. And sometimes a friend will, like this lady here that joined EXP, and she brought a friend with her. That happens all the time. So they're telling me they were interested, and I'm following up for years, and then all of a sudden one of their friends moves to EXP. They have a relationship. I just delete them from my database and I move on. It cannot hold any room in my, you know, real estate in my mind, because otherwise I will just think about it all the time. I'll loop it, and then I'll never make the next phone call. Woe is me. This is horrible. You know, I move on. And so, yeah, I appreciate that. Keep on following up with the people, because they will move sooner or later.
Thank you.
You bet.
Yes.
I have a question. So Vincent, I have 2 questions, and thank you for being on today and sharing all this. I think it's really exciting and important that we're all learning more about it. So 2 things is, one, how do you initiate that, or how do you make that transition? You say if you're just, you know, calling someone saying, for whatever, it's an introductory call for however you know them.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make that smooth transition so it's not too pushy or salesy? So that's the first part of the question. And then the second is, when you're making those quarterly follow-up calls, what are you generally saying so that, you know, you don't feel like you're bugging them, you feel like you're adding some value and letting them know you're there? But yeah, just curious more.
Great
wording.
questions. You bet. Great questions. So first off, when I contact people, because I've never met them before, I cold call agents. That's all I do, is go to realtor.com, pick an area, and go down page 1 and start calling. And that's just the way I've done it. Or I meet them at an open house. And so when I'm calling agents that I have not had a physical contact with, I'm cold calling them. So there's a couple things I need to remember. One is I'm interrupting their day. And so I'm going to get on the phone and off the phone as fast as I possibly can. I do not try to convince people to join. I do not try to convince people to look at EXP. Literally, I don't. And that may be right or wrong, but it works for me because it's authentic coming from me. I have heard some people say, oh, I try to get 3 objections before I get them off the phone. If that was me, you'd piss me off and I'd hang up the phone on you, because you're interrupting my day. You don't know when you contact people, you have no idea what they're going through right now at the moment that I call them. So I just say, hello, my name is Vincent. I'm the expansion specialist with EXP Realty. How are you doing today? They say, fine, or what do you want, or whatever. And I say, look, I've just loved the opportunity to share with you the benefits and value that EXP has to offer if you're open to scheduling a time to talk. Nope, I'm never leaving my broker. All right, appreciate your time. I hope you have a blessed rest of the day. And I dial the next number as fast as I can. If I know them or I've met them, I've got a contact, like what I would say, if you had a listing and there were business cards on the counter and you've never talked to this person before, but you've got their business card, that would be one scenario. Or maybe they came to your open house and you met an agent at the open house, then you just call them back and say, hey, you were at my open house, or you stopped by my listing. Ask them some questions about the listing. You know, how'd it go? What did your client like or dislike? What do you think I could have done better? Maybe was there anything that you saw that looked out of place or needed to be cleaned up? Maybe sometimes I miss things, you know, asking their professional advice, and people like that. And then I would just say, hey, look, I appreciate it. I hope you have a blessed rest of the year. By the way, I'm sure you've been exposed to EXP Realty, right? And I'll say, oh yeah, 100 times. Have you seen the new model for 2023 and beyond? Because all you're looking for is, are they interested in knowing more? And if they're not, then they're going to say, yes, I've seen it. And they're going to get off the phone with you. No, I haven't, but I'm really not interested. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And just move on. You're trying to convince them to see it. It's just going to bring you down to their level. It's not going to bring you any. You may get one every once in a while, but mentally you're going to beat yourself up going through it. So I say, if they're not interested, I move on. And if they're interested, then you go to the next step of getting them in front of, you know, somebody that either you do the presentation, get them on a Zoom, push play and watch the video, whatever it is, where you can actually see them, make sure that they're paying attention. That's the biggest thing. I've done Zooms and I see people start doing this. and I know what they're doing, they're texting or something, I'll pause the video and say, hey, Martha, I really appreciate it. I know you're really busy, but this is really important to your real estate career and your family. So if you could just put your phone on airplane mode, I already did. And this will be over really quick. And then we can answer any questions and get back to it. And they'll apologize. Oh, sorry, I had to take care of this. That's okay. If you're too busy, we can reschedule. But I'm not going to let them do this because they're not going to see it. They're going to look up. If you send them a video, they're going to watch it. And then they're going to go get the kid a sippy cup with milk in it. They're going to come back. They're going to look at this. This is weird. I'm not interested. And they have no idea what you're talking about or what they saw. So you've got to control the point of presentation is probably the most important part. But yeah, that's how I contact people is just, I'm in and out. I don't try to convince people. I'm looking for those that are looking and open, and I get them. I mean, even me cold calling agents with not face-to-face with agents that I'm meeting. You're going to meet most of the people. You're going to see them or at least hold their business card in your hand. Definitely you can cold call agents. I mean, you definitely can do that if that's what you want to do and you're able to do that. It takes a thick skin to do it, but it gets better just like calling your database. You know, it's the exact same thing. It's just one component. Instead of talking to buyers and sellers, you're just going to say the same thing. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You were at my open house. I would love to help you find your perfect house. That takes guts to do. And so does, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I thank you for coming to my open house. I see you're with Coldwell Banker. Would you be interested in looking at EXP? It's the same thing. It's just, you're just got to force yourself to do it. Why? Because last year I took 1.5 years off. I literally locked up my house in California, took 1.5 years, moved to the middle of nowhere. We had no cell service to take care of my 95-year-old father-in-law. He was wheelchair bound, lived alone in the middle of nowhere, wouldn't leave. And I had the ability to do that. If my construction company, I would have never been able to leave for a week. Could you drop everything for a week and take care of a family member? How about a month? I did it for 1.5 years. And I'm not looking for a pat on the back, but my income went up at EXP. I still made 180 grand last year and I didn't do a damn thing. I was in the middle of nowhere taking care of pops. And because I built something 5 years ago, I didn't know I was going to need to do that. I didn't know that was coming. And the reality is, somebody mentioned on here, you know, supposed to be retiring. Well, what a better retirement plan. What a better retirement plan than to bless the lives of other agents. And some of those agents will then carry on and do the same thing. And you're going to get paid every time. I think it was 145 transactions last month. My business closed and I didn't close any of them. I had almost 100 transactions in South Africa. And because I have agents in South Africa, 700 agents, almost 750 agents in South Africa. And I didn't recruit any of them in South Africa, but I met a guy at the NAR event in Boston. And what did I do? I put myself in a position to win. And I go to open houses. I don't do them, but I go to them. Because why? Because I need to put myself in a position to win. I went to NAR event 3 years ago up in Boston. I met a guy with a funny accent that lived in Canada. He's from South Africa. Owned a virtual brokerage, 187 agents. And he moved it to, we weren't even in South Africa. He hired the broker of record. He did everything. And now we have 90% of all South African EXP agents are in my team. That's what happens when you put yourself out there. When you put yourself out there, you get that $3 million listing that everybody else wanted, but because you put yourself out there, you got it. You got that buyer agent whenever they were probably talking to other people. You got that. You signed up that agent because why? Because you opened your mouth. You didn't convince them. You didn't trick them. You didn't connive them. You opened your mouth and talked to them, and they put on that application your name as a sponsor. That's it. It sounds so simple, but it is. It's not easy because it's the same thing you got to do for real estate. But trust me, it's going to be worth it. And if I can do what I did, never selling a house, my agents never call me asking me how to fill out an offer. I've never scheduled a pest inspection. I've never, talked to a title rep. I don't know anything about real estate. I've learned a lot in the last 5.5 years, of course. But my agents never call me asking for help doing deals. Your agents can. And so what could you do if you just tried? If this knucklehead Vincent's never sold a house and now has, I think there was 1,058 in my team now. because I found two good people. It only takes you usually one. You find one good person like you that's going to go out there and build it. You can go to the moon and back. I just got lucky, and luck is spelled W-O-R-K, and I found a couple. No, hope that answered your question. That was a long answer, but
yeah, no, that's awesome. It is so inspiring. I'm fired up too. I totally agree with you about, yeah, I mean, it is such a great opportunity. I feel like I don't even know all of the benefits. Like, what would you recommend, or what is the video that you share about the EXP model? What do you find to be the most effective one?
I don't know that there's a most effective one. It just depends on the situation. I either use Brent's, or because he's my sponsor, and I'm going to talk a lot about Brent because I don't sell real estate, and he's sold over 5,000 homes. And he was a real estate talk radio show host. So I lean a lot on the value add of Brent. If I was in Randy's team, I would say my business partner, Randy, has done blah, 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 blah. And I do my business partner, Brent, has done, all his acclimates. And so I'm able to, because I know Brent, I've known him for a long time. And then there's another one that's a 9-minute video. I like that one because it's really quick, and that's on CRM Grow. There's another company called Agent Builder Pro, I think is what it's called. CRM Grow is like a KV Core, but it's for agent attraction, and they've had a lot of glitches in their system. I don't know what's going on with them, but Agent Builder Pro looks good as well. They got nice videos, and they're quick and short and to the point. And just don't send them a video and expect them to watch it. Make sure you watch it with them. It doesn't matter what video you use. Use the one that you like, because you'll be more apt to use it. And there's several out there. And just make sure you watch it with them. That's absolutely, bar none, the biggest key, is to watch at all costs. I mean, sometimes you can't, then that's just one of those that you can't. But if you can, then watch it with them.
Watch it with them. That's so important. They're never going to watch it. If you ask them, some will, very few. Very few will watch it. But
and then follow up with them till they die or join.
Yeah.
Because that's the key to it. And my follow-ups get further apart. So if I meet with you and I'm doing a Zoom with you and I'm doing an initial contact with you, and then I'm scheduled on book, before we get off the phone, I schedule the next follow-up is 2 to 3 days later. I like to make it as quick as possible. And then if for some reason they no-show that, they don't answer the phone or whatever, then I make it three days apart. And then if nothing happens with that one, then I take it a week apart as the next contact. And if nothing happens, then I call them in a month. And if nothing happens, they go on the 3 month. And so my follow-ups get further apart, because if they ghost me and they're not answering my calls or whatever, then I'm over it, but I'm not going to stop. I know that they're not interested. They just don't know how to tell me. And sometimes I'll text them what I call the gauntlet call. And I'll text them and say, hey, Martha, I'm really sorry. I thought we had a great call the other day, and I haven't been able to get in touch with you in the last week. I really hope you're not sick or in the hospital or something like that. And I'll pull at their emotions a little bit and say, or maybe I just said something that offended you, and I really apologize. I hope that I offended you instead of you're in the hospital, but so I'm apologizing, and I'll do something like that. Then they'll contact me and say, oh, no, I'm really sorry. I've just been so busy, so that way I know they're at least getting my emails or my texts or my voicemails. But everybody gets a call every 3 months.
And so what do you say for those follow-up calls, General? I mean, I know it's going to be different.
Okay, that's right. That was your second part of your question.
What stage they're at, or how many times you've contacted them, but just in general, there's some examples.
Right. So I'm going to answer that, and then I'm going to explain something really quick. So basically, I just say, hey, Martha. So most of the time it's a voicemail, but if it's not, it's the same thing. Hey, this is Vincent, St. Louis, EXP Realty. Just wanted to touch bases with you. We haven't talked in a while, even though it was 3 months ago. We haven't talked in a while. Just want to touch bases with you and see if timing's right for you to take another look at EXP. Yeah. And just something like that. And the voicemail, give me a call back, shoot me a text, or reply to my email. I would love to schedule a time to talk. And then I move the task forward 3 months. Today's the 8th. The next one's going, what's that, August 8th? I think it's 3 months from now. And I move on. I don't think about them ever again because I've got to add new contacts to my list and I got to follow up with those. You know, tomorrow I've got almost 30 people that are on that list. They just end up mixing in there. So that's my contact for them is just asking them if timing's right.
Okay. Okay. So just keeping it real simple and sweet and yeah.
Yep, exactly. And the lady that just joined, I look back at her records because I keep records in my CRM. So I know at VM is voicemail, or they answer the phone. They say, no, I'm not interested now, whatever they said. And then, so I look back. So it was July 2018 when I first contacted her. And I've never had a conversation with her, meaning she's never answered the phone in that 5 years. Voicemail, 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 voicemail. And I think once she replied, she texted me back, I'm not interested. Thank you for following up. I'm not interested. Or leave me the heck alone. I'm not interested, whatever it was. But that doesn't bother me. She's still getting a call. And every once in a while, somebody says, hey, I really appreciate your tenacity. It's crazy. I've never met anybody so good at follow-up. And because they respect that, because they know they're not calling their database. And every once in a while, I've had it where somebody will say, you know, look, I'm not interested. I told you that last time. Hey, look, you call your database because you know, even the person that swore they're never going to move or buy another house, you know for a fact, sooner or later, some life-changing event, they're going to. So like your database that you call, I'm just touching bases with you. And they respect that. But so it's just a quick follow-up. But this lady, for 5 years, voicemail, every 3 months. And then to elaborate on the story, it brings me chills. So I call this lady and I'm looking at the database. I see voicemail, and I'm like, you know, like you, we start trying to talk ourselves out of it. And I'm good at stopping it because I know that I control my mind. My mind does not control me. And so I'm thinking I'm going to leave another voicemail. And I almost moved her till tomorrow because I was busy that day, and I almost moved her follow-up till the next day. And I said, nope, I'm just going to do it real quick. So I called her real quick, and she said, Vincent. And it shocked me because it's voicemail for 5 years. And she said, Vincent, I cannot believe you're calling me again. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. That's great. And why? And you would have thought it was a negative, but no, I just said, why? And she said, I just sat down at my desk, and you will not believe this, Vincent. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. I just wrote on a pad of paper, why EXP? And I called it that second. She said, literally right now, I just put my pen down and looked at my phone, and it was Vincent from EXP. So things happen. Some people you're going to talk to at the right time. Some people you're not. And like I said before, I've had people that I've called and said, you know, I usually search them up on Zillow and realtor.com because I want to know what their production has been. And so I see that they're with EXP, and I don't even call them, say nothing. I just delete them and move on. So yeah, it's all in timing for them. And that's why you just got to keep on.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really
You're
helpful.
Welcome. Thank you. And welcome to EXP.
So good.
Thank you very much. Do you also send an email? You were saying, so do you send at the same time, you do the voicemail and then also send them an email if they didn't answer, for example?
Yeah, when I meet somebody for the first time, they go onto my contacts. I have an email that automatically goes out one a month for I think 14 months. So the first year they're getting an email from me every month with just something. And then after that, I you know, some of these people I've been following up with like her 5 years. So I send an email like every once in a while, something might come up that I thought is nice, that, you know, is important for agents with EXP, or maybe a training I want to invite. And then I can do mass text to my whole database. They do get those, but that does not mean I push my phone call a month from there. You know, I don't move my phone call. It's coming every 4 months. So if I send an email to you, or every 3 months, if I send an email to you last week, then I'm not moving my contacts, you know, 3 months from there. My contact's still next week, if that's my contact, because that's different. Two things is, I know a lot of agents have assistants. They don't see their emails. So I can't assume that just because the email's been open that it was solved by the agent that I wanted to. And then a lot of times spam, they don't see it or whatever. And so I don't want to assume anything. So they're still getting, even if I send an email correspondence, they're still getting a phone call from me on the 3-month mark.
And then do you create your own scripts or your own email, template?
Yeah, I'm horrible at those things. So I don't know. I got file folders full of scripts. So if anybody needs a script, get hold of Randy. He can email me, or you can email me. It's vincentstlouis1@gmail. And St. Louis is my last name, not where I'm from. And
I use, oh, sorry, I was gonna say I use Chat GTP.
I've used it before. Yeah.
Yeah, that will sometimes help out.
Absolutely. So yeah, I've got tons of scripts. I've just used the same one forever. I've tried other people's scripts, but it just doesn't resonate with me and my personality. So I just keep using the same one. And it might be because I'm not teachable or I'm stubborn or what, I don't know, but it works for me. I've tried the other scripts and I just can't make it work.
I have used your scripts, Vincent, and they do work. I've transformed them a little bit into my personality. I've used them. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. I'm glad to hear that.
I would definitely love to have them as sort of a, launching point. And then like Janine said, you kind of modify it to make it your own. Right. But yeah, sometimes it's sort of like the intimidating white page, like, where do I start? Or what should I, what
exactly. Yeah.
So if
send me an email, vincentstlouis1@gmail.com, and I'll send it to you.
Okay. So is it Vincent STLOUIS? And
yeah, the number 1 at Gmail. Okay. Yeah. Here, I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
So Tyler, that means you're going to get a phone call from me in 3 months. Just kidding.
No, I was thinking that too. I was like, okay.
I was actually just going to tell Tyler, you might as well just go ahead and join. Save yourself a phone call down the line.
I know, unfortunately, it's probably going to be a little bit, but I do like what you guys have.
Good.
As of now,
good.
At least. So yeah,
I'll
probably talk to you in 3 months.
There we go.
Exactly.
Actually, I think after this call, you will talk to Janine within 3 months.
Yeah, and then we'll go camping with the families.
Yeah, that sounds good. Come on down to Idaho. We got tons of spot places.
Nice.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Well, Vincent, again, thank you.
Anytime, Randy. I appreciate you, my friend, and it's always good to hang out and serve and give. I hope somebody got something valuable out of my time here. I appreciate you guys.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.